Hi, everybody. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Sorry, guys, I'm so late. We have quite the lineup, so I had to get everything ready. Dizzy, thank you so much for this. Thank you for blessing me. Can't you be early for once? I tried. I was only 3 minutes. Listen, I tried. I tried. Let me get this intro going. That way I can share this live with everybody. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button, of course. And let's go. Where's my intro? Where'd you go? Right here. Hold up. Wait a minute. Bruh. Did you hit the like button? Drop some rabbits in the chat. Let's go.
Hit that like, hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat, hit chat. Hit that like, hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop some, drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. If you want the tea, come see me. Rabbit hole is the place to be for real news, not fake news. Celebrity news, breaking news around the clock. Real talk, best on the block. I rock, I rock, I rock, I rock. Real talk, best on the block. I rock, I rock. Hit that like, hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat, hit chat. Hit that like, hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop some, drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. True crime is my specialty. Exposing the industry. Unsolved mysteries. Sticking to reality. Fair use commentary. Talking about cults. Trying to get results. Exploring hopes. Exploring. Researching. Debunking. Investigating. Being nosy. Super nosy. Being messy. Being shady. Rabbit hole news. That's me. The chick with ADHD. Unmedicated. But quite educated. Hit that like. Hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat. Hit chat. Hit that like. Hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Drop some rabbits. Drop some. Drop them. Drop them. Drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Drop some rabbits. Drop them. Drop them. Drop them. Drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Hit that like. Hit that like. Let's go. Let's go. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show.
Alrighty, guys. Welcome, welcome. I swear that song just puts me in a good mood. I can't even explain it. Morris, thank you for the 2, my love. Shout out to you, y'all. Y'all are very much here, and I'm so excited. Yes, emphasis on the very unmedicated, yet educated. Shout out to Danny Robertson. I swear to God, I don't know how she did it, but she did it. That's the reason why I got the beat that I do. Shout out to her. She needs to do a bunch of songs, and for creators, I'm sure people would totally be down for that. You love that intro? It just makes me in a good mood. I haven't even mixed my coffee yet. It's here, but it hasn't really been mixed in, and it's okay. I'm just in a good mood. I love it. I love it. I love it. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Shout out to you guys. Hey, Shrinking Sharon, how are you? I haven't seen you in a minute. I hope you're doing well. I keep waiting for Bruce Dallas to make an appearance in your intro, Rabbit. It definitely has the right beat for his donka donka do da dang. Listen, Bruce Dallas is a personality that will probably come out every once in a while. I got to do a couple of recordings with my little voice recorder and do a little of that. But yeah, everybody loves Bruce Dallas. Okay, wait a minute. I saw another comment about Bruce. Was it you, Aduko? What did you do? What you send on the Discord about Bruce Dallas? I'm scared. I am scared. You'll have to send it to me because I don't know. Make sure you tag me. Hey, Train Monkey, how are you? You love the intro. I'm glad. Bruce is for the after dark. That's right. Coffee's hot, ready to sip while you spill everything. Yes. Thank you guys so much. Yes, I appreciate. Shout out to BJ. She gave us a shout out for the intro. Hi, Daniela. How are you? Itchy Thayton, I see you. Chat says, Train Monkey, everybody. Nona needs help. Welcome. Pika is in the house. Shout out to my beautiful, wonderful mods. Thank you guys for being here. You guys are amazing. And I see everybody else. We got to get going because we have, you said on the Discord. You said I sent Bruce a picture of me in the shower in the Discord. Oh, we. All right then. I'll have to check it out. Make sure you tag me, Yaduko, because I don't see any tags. Make sure you tag me so I can check it out. Shout out to you though. Is Kanye and Bianca divorce new or just old news? Wendy, Kanye and Bianca, like, let me just say this. I know Kanye has been like the talk of the town, but as much as I am not a fan of Charlemagne the God, I will have to agree with what he says. He's boring. Kanye West is boring and he's doing the most to get the attention that he wants. He wants to, I don't know if he can do it musically, but he's just boring. I'm sorry. Like the antics is done. You know, him with the little KKK talking about I got a leather what is it? The leather kind of KKK outfit. I don't know. And then to see academics just like fangirling over him, it's just another boring thing. I'm like, I don't know what else to say. Is it just me? Is he like I get it that it's like everybody wants to watch, but I'll be honest with you. Okay, like, and what? I don't know what else to make of Kanye. I don't agree with half of the shit that he does. I hope if he's got truths about the industry, please expose them already. But Kanye West and his antics have become like I don't know, yesterday, 2 days ago news. And with Bianca, it's like, girl, are you going to divorce this man or not? Hmm? Yeah, he stands alone. Kanye stands alone. Yeah, I don't speak for everybody, but that's my thought on that. Are we going to literally like Bianca, Blanca, Brenda, all the bees out there. Bianca, Blanda, Brenda, Barbara. Like, girl, are you going to divorce this guy or are you just going to like be there? You're literally like he's just walking all over you. We can all see it, all right? No, you didn't orchestrate this whole thing, to walk, all nude at the Grammys. Like we know this. The girl, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying, I cannot. I It's too much. Both of them. I at least babosa. Está bien babosa. I'm sorry. But the girl is out here. They're talking about divorce. Kanye's over here appearing on DJ academic streams. I'm just like, I'm not impressed, guys. I'm so over Kanye West and his foolishness. Can we move on from it? It's the I don't give a fuck news sometimes because I'll say that like even though I'm here for the things that he wants to expose, I'm here for it. I want to hear him expose some really good things. But what I don't appreciate is all the shit in between that is like you're just doing things for attention at this point. Like I want to see some music and it's just the music is just not musicking anymore. Amber Rose said Kanye did the same thing to her, right? I believe Amber Rose. I may not necessarily be a fan of Amber Rose, but I believe everything that Amber Rose is saying when it comes to Kanye West. Okay? And this is the thing, it's like what Mel said the other day. He comes out here talking about Kim Kardashian, is doing this to me, this to this black man and the kids, and I'm like, but you're picking the same kind of woman. Like Bianca is like a copied and paste version of Kim Kardashian. I don't know what everybody wants. I don't know. Nancy, thank you so much for the 19.99, my love. Shout out to you. Thank you for this super sticker. Thank you. Let's see. Cloud chasing Amber. Amber Rose is too much. I'm not ashamed to say what that I do. It works. I'm not ashamed to say what I. Sorry, I misread it. I'm not ashamed to say that I do. It works. Ooh, okay. I don't know. I can't with these people sometimes. I can't. Nancy, thank you again. I appreciate you. I loved him in his early. I think a lot of us did. I loved Kanye in his early days, but he is not the same Kanye. How are you, Franny Law? I'm up to my A asterisk asterisk in alligators with work. Well, shout out to you, Franny Law. We don't want to get you fired, so you do your work. Shout out to you. I'm thinking about you though. Shout out to you. Anyways, moving on. Are y'all ready to move on? Can we move on? You can time it to the month and day at this point when he comes out and does the weirdo stuff. That's the thing. It's like it's so predictable. This is why he's boring. I don't like Charlemagne the God, but Charlemagne the God didn't lie about that. Kanye West is boring and he's doing what he can to stay relevant, whether it's saying some BS with nothing. First, he's against Diddy, then he's for Diddy, then he's like, I'm like, which one? Pick a fucking side. And I don't even pick sides, but in this case, I just can't. I can't. I can't. I think it's boring. And I think it was really crazy to see DJ Academics like, are you okay, DJ Academics? He's literally like he's got stuff coming out of his mouth as he's just watching Kanye there, and I'm like, this the fangirl stuff is too much. Anyways, moving on, moving on. Oh, you're laughing. Well, shout out to you and your 3-year-old grandson, Joe. Shout out to you. All right, y'all. He's very talented, and I wish he would just get back to the music. Yes, that's kind of where I'm at. There will never be an era like this. There will never be Night Charm. Like this was the era for Kanye right here. I think this is when this is the college dropout era. That's it. I just don't know if there's any more after that. I can't think of anything. He's got a couple of things here and there, but honestly, yes, he is. I concur with this comment. I do. I do. Okay, let's move on, guys, because we definitely got some stuff to go through. So let's talk about a case that I didn't cover much in true crime news, but it was one that I kind of kept my eye on a little bit. So there was a woman out of Georgia. And let me know if you guys have heard about this case specifically. I guess a lot of people on social media are calling her like the antifreeze lady. So she basically poisoned her husband with antifreeze. Now, she's not the first to have done this. There's been other cases. I remember one that I covered briefly of a man, and this was like a 48-hour special because I think the guy was he a doctor or something? Anyways, so he like poisoned his wife with antifreeze. And I think there's something about antifreeze in the body, like when you taste it, it tastes like sugary, so you can't really tell it's antifreeze. And then it like crystallizes too. So there's something to be said about how this happens, but it is a very painful death. Did y'all hear about this? Did you guys hear about this case? Yeah, it's sweet and it crystallizes. I have to say that much. So, a Georgia woman has been sentenced to life in prison after being found guilty of fatally poisoning her husband with a cocktail laced with antifreeze following a 2-year investigation. So she was sentenced to life. Okay. Her name is Tori Frederick, was convicted of felony malice murder and aggravated assault last week in connection to the 2021 death of her husband, Phil Frederick. This is what the Thomas County Sheriff Office confirmed in a statement on March 27th. Now, Phil died September 2021, after being rushed to the Memorial Hospital. Emergency staff quickly became suspicious of his symptoms and alerted authorities, suspecting that he had been poisoned. He died a week later. An autopsy confirmed ethylene glycol poisoning, I think that's how you say that, a toxic chemical found in antifreeze and brake fluid. So prosecutors argue that Tori mixed the chemical into a drink that ultimately led to her husband's death. Her defense team, however, pushed back with claims that Phil may have taken his own life and that the investigators never recovered the drink or the antifreeze from the home. The case took a dramatic turn during the trial when the couple's children, Phil Jr. and Felnisha, took the stand. Prosecutors say both initially told police that Phil Jr. witnessed his father drink the poison cocktail. To read the rest, log into Baller Alert, of course. Yeah, it's crazy, crazy. So she's been sentenced to life. But I guess the kids said that they saw the him taken, like him trying to kill himself, I guess. I don't know. What do y'all think of that? They all use antifreeze. Well, and I thought like antifreeze can be detected through an autopsy. Like I don't know, and it's sweet when people drink it. I've been told, at least that's what science has said. So it's kind of hard to even like I don't know differentiate it. Why would they make antifreeze sweet to the taste? This is what I don't know. Is that on purpose? They don't just put a bunch of sugar, or is it the chemicals? I don't know. I don't know. But it makes me wonder. And also what would be the motive? Why would she want him dead? I don't know if they've established that. It crystallizes, right? That's what I thought too. That it crystallizes in the body and the blood and it's a chemical, but I guess he wasn't able to detect it at all. Sounds like to me that the kid's new mom was trying to knock off their dad ahead of time. Maybe maybe they're like, we're here for our mom, so we got to support our mom. So, anyways, really sad situation out of Georgia. So we are going to move on to this situation right here. Now, hold up, let me close my tab. Let me tell you something, guys. Look, I am not opposed to a little plastic surgery, a little nip tuck tuck, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and the Botox. I think that if you have the money to do it, if it helps you improve yourself, do what you gotta do. All right. But even people that have the money to do it, they still cut a lot of corners. And it's not a very well regulated business, especially when you're going outside the country to go get a little nip tuck and do all these kinds of things, right? No, it's not. So this guy who is like the same story that we hear all the time about people going to go get surgeries and they're not board certified, they're not doing anything like it's become such a dangerous thing, right? We talk about this in the outside of the country, but in the US it's just as bad if you guys really look into it and stuff like that. Yes, it's become very dangerous. I had a nip and tuck on my fella. Just whoa. Oh my god, James, I can't with you. Well, hey, if it improves your life, I hope it worked for you. Shout out to y'all. I can't with you. Mm-mm. If it improves your life, why not? As long as it's a surgery that you wanted to do, if it improves you, good. I'm glad that you did what you had to do. Look at yeah, I didn't expect to read that comment, but I totally did. I gotta be careful when I read comments. Y'all be doing too much in the chat. So, NYC man allegedly leaves woman brain dead after illegally performing plastic surgery procedures at his home. 38-year-old Felipe Hoyos Fonronda was charged with assault in second degree and unauthorized practice of a profession on Friday, March 28th. So, a New York man was arrested for allegedly illegally performing plastic surgery procedures that left one client brain dead, a New York Police Department spokesperson confirmed to People. So Felipe, 38, was arrested on Friday, March 28th, after medics responded to his call to his home on 35th Street near 20th Road. So he's literally doing this at his home. He was charged with assault in the second degree and unauthorized practice of a profession. And Felipe calls EMS and then fled the scene. Hold on. Oh my God. So he calls the ambulance. He's like, all right, I'm out. I got to go. This is what the police said per the CBS News. Upon the EMS team arrival, the fire department New York medics found the 31-year-old woman in cardiac arrest. She was allegedly administered lidocaine injections, which are commonly used as a local anesthetic to numb specific areas. First responders discovered Felipe's makeshift doctor's office in his home, police said per CBS. Then first responders requested that the police respond to the scene. Oh my God. Felipe's landlord provided detectives with Felipe's information and picture. Hold up. The guy doesn't even know the property. So he's like renting this out. Thank you, my love. Thank you to Doug. Quack, quack. Thank you for this super sticker, super chat. Thank you. Shout out to you. Hold up now. Hold up. So this guy is hmm, I don't know. This is crazy, but this is not uncommon. This does happen a lot. The lack of, yeah, sterilizing makes me cringe. What are you to do with, yeah, anesthesia with the cast iron skillet over the head? They did it at his home, like he's renting this property. I can't. I don't know. You said you had an appointment last week. Shit, I had an appointment there next week. Who gets plastic surgery in someone's living room? I don't know. Like, what made her do this too, right? Like, but people be going to like back alleys, out of the country, people's basement for these kind of, I mean, you see people get injected with like, what is it? The industrial, I want to say slime, but it's not slime. It's like industrial stuff that they pump in your, cheeks. I think Cardi B said that she had some of that like basement industrial thing that they pump. And then it gives you like medical problems. Who was it? Was it K Michelle? It was a K Michelle. K Michelle had did she have like an issue with her butt cheek or something like that? There's an issue that later progresses if you're doing like those basement type of injections or whatever, that like it might not be immediate, right away. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, thank you. You guys are putting the name of the thing. So it might not be immediate right away, but it becomes a problem later. People have talked about headaches. People have talked about having to do X-rays with this like substance cocking in the I think that's what it's called. The substance in the body, it gets in your bloodstream. It that's too much, guys. That is too much. Thank you. Thank you, mom. Y'all are funny in the chat. You should have to be licensed to do that, meaning you should hold medical standards and be punished if you're not. Well, and if anybody that it should be a crime for anybody to play doctor that way, right? It should be a crime for anybody to perform surgeries or medical procedures. Thank you, my love, Storm. Shout out to you, Storm. Medical procedures outside of a facility. That's how I see it. Like you have your medical walk-in facilities, but that's like a medical walk-in facility type of situation, right? I saw this horrible um uh documentary of a woman who's like ash cheek, I hate to put it this way, but it was beaten, it was like rotting itself. So it was like eating the flesh away from itself, because there's infections and things happen like that. It eats itself away. Morris says, I am not going to no man's house for a procedure. You know what? You would be amazed. Thank you, Morris, for this, by the way. Shout out to you. Thank you guys for helping me getting closer to my goal. Y'all are amazing. Thank you. Um, you would be amazed how many people actually just do this. Like necrosis, is that what it's called when it like eats itself all the time? Um Andrew, I can't with you. I play doctor all the time in my bedroom. Oh wait, you wrong YouTube channel. Necrosis. The lady was like her ass cheek was eaten away. So in Mexico, and I see this, I'm sorry, I hate to admit it, but I'm gonna admit it. Um it's cheaper to go down there to get medical procedures. Everybody goes to Mexico to do it. It's, you run the risk. You don't think about that risk, but people do it all the time. All the time they go to Mexico to get medical procedures, right? And that happens. That is a thing. Now, have people died? Yes. Sometimes there are, life changing medical procedures that you can get done in Mexico that would be way expensive here. So keep that in mind. Now, cosmetic surgery is a little bit different, but just know, I mean, even medication that you get in Mexico is a lot cheaper. You could just walk to a pharmacy and say, I want some penicillin or something, and you get it cheaper. And it's like extra potent and it works a lot better. Better to go to a dentist, right? So a lot of people do different things, and it's dental work specifically is very pricey. Storm, thank you for the 189, my love. I thought that this is what I sent the first time. Well, thank you for sending that again, love. Shout out to you. Thank you. You can get diabetic and birth control medication expensive. Yeah, you could do different things. I know I've had family members that go to, they live in Mexico, so they find it easier just to get healthcare over there. Um, traveling back and forth doing that or getting medical procedures. Hell, I went to Juarez when I was like young and stupid and got colored I think I shared this with you guys. I got colored contacts for cheap over there and actually put them in my eyes. I could have gone blind. One of them was like burning me, I remember, but I wanted to have blue eyes, purple eyes, crazy kind of eyes. This is the kind of shit that you do, back in the day when I guess I was young and stupid, very stupid, but I could have definitely gone blind. I could have gone blind. Um, yes, yes, yes. I don't know why your comments always get deleted. Are Rabbit's Magic gets my deleted comments. LOL. Save me from texting. Sometimes you get a lot of misspelling. A lot of y'all be like talking like this, and then all the wrong words start coming in there. And then I'm reading it like, what? What happened? So yeah, so keep in mind this guy got in trouble. So I guess the first responders discovered like this makeshift little hospital thingy. Okay, and then the first responders requested that the police respond. Responders requested police to respond to the scene, and that's when the landlord provided him a picture and the information. So the city license plate reader system received a notification on his vehicle, which was on the Van Wyck Expressway near John F. Kennedy International Airport. Oh, this guy was trying to flee. He was going to be gone. He reportedly told authorities that he was a licensed doctor in Colombia. According to police sources per the New York Daily News, he had a ticket for a flight to Colombia. So he was licensed in Colombia. This is what he's saying. You guys, oh my goodness. The woman was transported to Mount Sinai in Queens. She's believed to have suffered from the lidocaine toxicity. See, and that's the other thing too, because you can have like reaction to the what is it? Those things that numb, like the lidocaine, the stuff that numbs you or puts you to sleep. The proposed conditions occur when excessive amounts of anesthetic enters in the bloodstream. It can cause dizziness, agitation, and cardiovascular respiratory failure. So if you have lidocaine toxicity, this is what it looks like. The woman has no brain activity. Oh my God. So she is not expected to survive. So Felipe's home is now under partial vacate order. Oh my goodness. And the first apartment operating as a medical office with medical exam tables, cosmetic injectables, syringes, and light exams. Felipe pleaded not guilty and was ordered held without bail during his arraignment in Queens. The guy was going to bail. He was going to leave to Colombia. His court appearance is for Thursday, April 3rd, which would be today at 9. He probably already saw a judge. Anyone with information, make sure you call Crime Stoppers. That is insane. That is insane. That is insane, guys. I don't know. Always check your doctor's credentials all the time. I'm just gonna say that. Leslie Murray, thank you so much for this $4.99 super sticker, my love. Shout out to you, Leslie. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you, Dizzy again. Me too. Don't care. You're worth it. Aw, shout out to you, Dizzy. I have a friend. I had a friend that get the full body surgery, boobs, butt, thighs, tummy tuck, extra removal in Mexico, and she got a bad infection, almost died. Insurance here didn't want to cover her aftercare. I wouldn't be surprised. They wouldn't. They wouldn't. Too much lidocaine. So she had a reaction. So yeah, y'all got to be careful. Listen, that like shout out to you guys. I support anybody that wants to feel like they need to do a surgery. Because I mean, I would probably do one myself too if I want. If I could, if that's kind of where my mind was at. But that I don't. So I support people that do. But it just you got to be careful. You got to vet these people. This guy said he was a doctor from Colombia. Like what? And so then he probably said, well, F this, I am not going to get my, credentials or whatever, or go to med school or do any of that. Who knows if he even is a doctor in Colombia? Do your research about the surgery that you want and do the things that make you feel empowered. just be careful. That's what I got to say about that. And shout out to everybody for helping me meet my goal. Thank you guys. Y'all are amazing. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know what? And side note, totally off topic. When we meet our goal, I definitely need to do something, but it's probably not going to involve Bruce Dollars because Bruce Dollars isn't it for everybody. But I gotta put a little something, maybe like a little confetti something or something when we meet our goal. Thank you guys. Okay, let's talk about this guy right here. Everybody's favorite. Not mine. Not mine. So when I first heard this news, I heard it actually through Tasha K. She posted this little thing about no jumper going broke. Now I know no jumper. I mean, he's got this whole little like legal stuff going on over here. It was said that he possibly wasn't really maybe potentially could have been arrested with, Big U and all this stuff. I can't stand no jumper. I really can't. So he's going broke, and let me just say I really don't give a shit.
There's something that I've been hiding from you guys. No jumper is going
Why would he hide it? First of all, why would he hide it?
broke. I know that might sound crazy. Between both of our YouTube channels last month, we got over 25 million views. We're doing well on Facebook and Snapchat. We employ quite a few of the hottest content creators on the West Coast, and we pump out an insane amount of content on a weekly basis. How could we be going broke? Well, let's start here. We expanded too much during COVID at just about the exact moment that our revenue streams all took a hit. We hired a whole bunch of editors and other employees, and we bought a huge office building that cost us almost $4 million, thinking that the growth that we were experiencing during the pandemic was going to continue. And
I think a lot of you, I started my YouTube channel in 2021, so I would probably say that I was after COVID. So yeah, his wife, are they still even together, Vicky? Because I thought, okay, so he has like him and his wife do like, or at least her, she's got like an OnlyFans, right? And he does the most, he's controversial. He did, but I just think that he's like, what's the word? I would definitely put him up there with like Vlad TV, but there's something about this guy that's just like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. You said y'all don't like him? Cry me a river. No, well, and I think a lot of people got very thinking that they could just that COVID was going to be the thing, and I mean, a lot of people kind of blew up in their channels during COVID. A lot happened during COVID, but I have a lot of questions about this. What do you guys think?
And unfortunately, that did not happen. Our YouTube numbers, which had doubled or even tripled, gradually returned to normal. Our Snapchat and Facebook numbers, which had exploded during COVID, sometimes even hitting 6 figures a month, shrank by about 80% or more. Our Patreon, which was absolutely killing it for a year or two when we were doing uncensored, aka nude interviews with up-and-coming superstars like Kazumi and Sky Bree, fell off quite a bit with the launch of Plug Talk and a decreased interest in seeing us interview stars. In addition to that, you might recall that the channel took quite a hit when approximately 8 of our hosts left the platform in March of 2023.
Oh, I remember this. Oh my God.
Although we've definitely largely recovered and managed to build up a very healthy roster of talent since then, that certainly took a toll on our business for a while as well. All that stuff hurt the business, but we were still solidly profitable. That is, until the last few months, where we experienced 2 major L's that we never could have seen coming.
Adam is a weirdo. Yeah, Robin, you ain't never lie about that. He's a sleaze. He's a weirdo. He is. I'm sorry. I don't know too many people that are fans. Rabbit, your office is too small. Listen, Mar, shout out to you. I haven't seen you in a minute. I hope you're well. Thank you so much for the $4.99 baby bunny tax. Thank you. The duck, thank you. Rabbit, your office is so small. What y'all? Should I get a 400,000 square feet thing when it's just me, y'all? Like, listen. I don't need to do all that. I might get I'm thinking about getting like a little couch, but that's it. Like, we're not doing this whole little whole thing over here. A warehouse for what exactly? For what? And I know he expanded with his business and stuff like that, with the corn stuff and everything else. But this guy has always been trash. He exploits a lot of people. He gets in the mess. I don't know. He gets in like gang rivalry stuff, and then I can't with Adam. I really can't. I can't.
First, we lost the No Jumper Instagram. After almost 10 years of building it up and essentially no strikes on our account, we got taken down one day and we still have absolutely no idea why. We've had no luck getting it back despite being in contact with what seems like every Instagram recovery guy on the face of the planet.
Okay, I want to stop right here because when he said this, every Instagram guy with the recovery, there was a guy that they interviewed who actually got in trouble with the feds over sitting down and interviewing with him on telling people how they can recover their Instagram accounts and how he was able to get people's Instagram accounts back. He was doing business with that person. So he is one of those people that will do what he has to do, right? Especially on social media and stuff like that. Like Adam 22 is no saint. This is why when I heard that he potentially could have been arrested or detained or anything, I was like, hey man, I wonder if he's connected. His cover has been blown last year. Hold up, it was last year. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. And then when he got caught up with this situation, nobody really talked about this interview that he did with this one guy. Hold up. Let me see if I can pull it. Adam 22. No jumper. It was this one guy who was like threatening people. Here it is. Let's see. No jumper. So he was working with like this extortionist, right? This extortionist knew how to get into people's accounts. This was back in August when I did this thing. It's this one right here. Let me show you guys. Hold up. Confessions on No Jumper. He literally said what he did, and then a criminal complaint came through, and whatever he basically landed himself in, like, the FBI's basic what is it, arms over the confessions that he made on No Jumper. And then No Jumper, Adam 22 went live and he talked to the news and basically said, oh, we don't know anything about this guy, we're not doing business with this guy. But he was literally telling him on his interview how he's able to recover accounts and the amount of money that he has to pay. And this guy was like extorting a bunch of people. The minute that I did this interview, then people started contacting me about, oh, Rabbit, you better be careful. You better be careful with this because yada, yada, yada. These people are like, they do different things and whatnot. Be careful. Hell, to buy a 5 million building, one up on these crybaby. Thank you, Nancy. I think you meant to say to buy a $500 or $5 million building, one up on these crybabies. Thank you for the 999, Nancy. Shout out to you. But this guy, his connections with people, extortion, money laundering. This guy is dirty. Like, he gets caught up all the time. Just people don't ever catch up on the stuff that he does. That's the thing. So when he said this, I said, I call bullshit. And I think that there's probably more to that Instagram account being gone. That's what I'm going to say, allegedly, in my opinion.
We were bringing in a very solid amount of cash monthly that was keeping us afloat via selling sponsored posts on the account. And that mostly vanished overnight. And while we've been growing the new No Jumper LA account up ever since and managing to sell sponsored collab posts using my Instagram and the No Jumper LA account, DM or email if interested, we aren't making anywhere near as much from Instagram now. Side note, if you're a Meta rep, please DM me. I would love to speak to anyone who could help with this. And second,
oh my goodness, connected to Big U, right? Honestly, I think all these people, that it's the influencer time. A lot of these people are probably going to be 2025 is going to be the year of a reckoning for these people.
In addition to that, we have been hit with a bullshit lawsuit from a former employee. Now, essentially everything.
Now, do you guys know about this lawsuit? Let me know because I'd like to review it. I didn't know that there was a lawsuit from a former employee. If you guys know about it, let me know. Who's the former employee? I haven't been keeping up with this side of this.
Thing in this lawsuit is completely fictional, and every lawyer that I've spoken to about it has described this as basically an extortion attempt, but It still cost us a ton of money already, and it's expected to cost us many hundreds of thousands of dollars to see this through to completion. It's insane to me that a person that we did so much for can just invent some grievances out of thin air and cost us.
Who is this guy? Let me know. Do y'all know who this guy is? A lawsuit. Who is this guy?
This much money as a result. This person has literally lost every single friend that he used to have when he worked at No Jumper. His streaming career has completely tanked, and he even got kicked off the podcast that he left No Jumper to start. But somehow that's our reality, and we have to fight this rather than just give in to this piece of shit. So as a result of all these circumstances, we are making some changes. Over the last few months, we laid off multiple employees in an attempt to reduce our expenses as much as possible. We closed down our store on Melrose, and we're in the early stages of selling our current warehouse and moving into a smaller space. To be honest, aside from the layoffs, which sucked, I'm pretty happy about a lot of these changes. I've realized that I should have paid more attention to DJ Vlad and kept my overhead as low as possible.
Oh, there goes DJ Vlad.
Particularly in terms of staff and location. I'm confident that once we get the building sold, we'll be in a pretty solid financial position again as a business. Oh, and I also just want to note that I am talking about No Jumper as a business. I've got another business in the form of Plug Talk, and I've got a
Oh, there he goes with his Plug Talk.
pretty decent investment portfolio on a personal level. I mean, shit, I'm not $2 million in debt, and I never had to file for bankruptcy like T-Rel. But I honestly spend pretty much all of my time trying to create as much content as possible with No Jumper, and I can't really justify doing so unless the fundamentals of the business make sense. It was a big decision to share this stuff with you guys, but at a certain point, I realized that I've been honest with the world about just about everything in my life over the years, and it felt wrong to keep all this stuff that we've been dealing with in secret. So I know.
I mean, it was going to come out anyway. So I have a feeling anytime that, so look at his face, Lord have mercy. Why did I pause right here? I need to know. Let me pause right there. Listen, let me see. No Jumper employee. Let me see. Lawsuit. Who is the guy? Okay, so I'm not the only one that that's talking about this, but there is a lawsuit. I have to find out. I'm going to find out the name of this person. That's my goal. And if anybody knows who the person is, please shoot me an email. Please, 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 please. I appreciate it at the rabbit the blogger at iCloud.com. If you guys know this, their claims are wrong. Okay, 2 former employees. Oh, look at this, Vicky. Okay, thank you. Now I know. See, that second name looks familiar to me. Let me do a deep dive on that because I want to see their claims are wrongful termination. I could definitely see No Jumper doing some. This guy is trash. Shout out to y'all if you support him, but I don't. Maybe he can call Lima Yaremovich for some help. I don't know. That's what I gotta say about that. That's what I gotta say about that. And he's going broke. I mean, I guess he expanded too much during COVID or whatever, which I guess a lot of people were doing well during COVID. Of course, everybody was at home and everything. So yeah, it is what it is. Okay, I want to talk about another situation. Now, I am not familiar with the shout out to Kim Pyre. I'm not familiar with the Bravo franchise. I know that they do a lot of the reality TV shows. I don't really talk about them, but this aspect of a producer exposing the dealings of Bravo and stuff like that. Oh, I was here for it. I was here for it. Thank you, Vicky. I'm gonna check this out. I was so here for it. Did y'all hear this? Did you guys see this? And the only person I really saw talking about it was Kempire. So this is Patrick McDonald. Now, Patrick McDonald is like a producer of the Bravo show. I'm assuming he's probably no longer there. And he says, for the past 5 years, I've been producing reality shows for Bravo. That is until recently when I was iced out for the shows I worked on after starting to make adult content on subscription fan sites. So we went from talking about all this stuff over here with over here. So now we're here. The reason I started making this kind of content, besides the fact that I wanted to, was because I was extremely burned out and exhausted by the incredible toxic work culture on many of the shows I worked on. I have produced 13 seasons of Bravo TV across 9 different shows from coast to coast. I'm acutely aware of the inner workings and work culture across the board at the network. It's bittersweet as there's so many aspects of this job and so many people that work on these shows that I love. But ultimately, I learned this job was not conducive to me living a healthy, balanced, and fulfilling life. So I made a pivot. I made a pivot that some may not understand. So I pivot. I think you meant to say I pivoted. And that's okay. I couldn't be happier or more content with that or more content, excuse me, with what I'm doing right now. As challenging as it was at times, I'll always be grateful for the many memories and friendships that came from this chapter of my life. I've always believed in trying to leave a place better than you found it. So on my way out, there's a few things about the toxic work culture I'd like to bring to at Bravo TV attention and hopefully see a change in the future. I guess he's not trying to go back to work anymore after this, right? Because there's no way they would have been like, yeah, come back to work. Oh man, I just switched scenes. Hold up, y'all. Let me fix it. Do he wanted to be a housewife? No, he wanted to do adult content. He was doing adult content and doing Bravo, but I guess he couldn't do both. And to a certain degree, like I can see them saying, well, you're doing content, but we're running a risk because of people exposing people. But I mean, the guy's an adult. He knows what he's doing. He's not doing it at a freaking daycare. I don't know. What do you guys make of it? Yeah, it's not a daycare. That's what I was about to say. I was like, it's not a daycare, not like the other guy.
My name is Patrick McDonald, and for the last 5 years, I've been producing reality shows for Bravo. Most recently, I was serving as the supervising producer on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Orange County, and Vanderpump Rules. That is until recently when I was iced out and essentially blackballed by all my shows after I started creating adult content on subscription fan sites. Now, why would I start creating adult content? Well, I was extremely burnt out, overworked, and exhausted by the toxic work culture on a lot of the shows that I worked on. I produced 13 seasons of Bravo across 9 different shows. I'm acutely aware of the inner workings and the work culture across the board at the network. Most of these shows, you're working 12+ hour days, 6 days a week, 3 to 4 months at a time. And then I would look at these people in my life who are content creators, and they are working far less than me, making a lot more money than me, doing whatever they want, whenever they want, living a life of freedom. By contrast, I started to look at how much of my life I was devoting to work, and it made me really start to question what I was doing with my life. Now, I'm not an idiot. I knew there was a chance when I started making adult content that it could jeopardize my work with Bravo. But on the other hand, it's 2025. There's Real Housewives and other Bravo reality stars with fan sites. So someone that's a face of the network can create a fan site. Certainly it shouldn't be a problem for someone who works behind the scenes, right? We're seeing guests on Watch What Happened Live being corrected when they use the word hooker and told to say sex worker.
Oh, this is interesting. You know what, Andrew? And Andrew says Bravo probably has certain provisions in their employment agreement and code of conduct. I would guess working on adult content site violates Bravo's standards. Okay. I knew of a person when I worked in government that got caught up because they were doing adult sites and working in government, and that was a no too. It depends, I guess. I mean, and that was her personal choice, but that at some point it it catches up to you, and keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, okay?
We're having adult entertainers bartending in the clubhouse. So I thought, maybe it wouldn't be an issue. Maybe then I could kind of pick and choose which shows I take, evening out my work-life balance a little bit and supplementing my income with the fan sites. I'm not sure if me being iced out was done at a network level or at a production company level, but all I know is that once I started creating this content, things went radio silent with the executive teams on my shows. I haven't heard from the exec team on Beverly Hills since we left St. Lucia, and I haven't heard from the OC exec team since we shot the last reunion, where it became abundantly clear to me that word had gotten out about my fan sites. Once I realized I was being iced out, even though I knew it was a possibility, it still hurt my feelings, to be perfectly honest. For the last 5 years, I've given so much of myself to these shows, pouring my energy, heart, and soul to telling these compelling stories, all while enduring incredibly intense pressure from a lot of my bosses. Now, you'd be hard-pressed to find someone more passionate about their job at Bravo than me. I have loved Bravo and been enamored by Real Housewives ever since I saw Sheree shifting Kim Zolciak's wig out in front of Jimmy John's on Atlanta back in the day. I love these shows. I loved them then, and I love them to this day. And I love them because I know how much they mean to people, because I know how much they meant to me. I was proud and honored to work on these shows, and as it turned out, I was really good at it. I came into the Bravo world in a bit of an unconventional way. Several years ago, I myself was on a reality show much like these shows called Fire Island. And I was on that show during one of the darkest periods of my life. I was battling a serious drug addiction at the time that I was keeping a secret during production. So I know what it's like to be on one of these shows while your life is crumbling around you and you're trying to just keep it together. It's a really unique position to be in, and one that's very hard to understand until you go through it yourself. Shortly after Fire Island wrapped, I was a homeless junkie, shooting up 3 to 4 times a day and was sleeping under bridges, But then I went to rehab. I got clean and I started to rebuild my life. I've been sober for about 1.5 years, working 2 jobs, one at a grocery store and one cutting down trees, when I got my first offer to work on a Bravo show. I was so beyond grateful for that job because I honestly thought I'd never work in TV again. So I took it and I ran with it and gave it everything I had. I started out as a logger on Married to Medicine, and I quickly climbed the ladder from there. My next show, I got a promotion. My next show, I got a promotion. By my 4th show, I was promoted to field producer, and I was running a crew on Real Housewives of Atlanta. Within the next 2 years, I was promoted to supervising producer, working directly under the co-executive producers. And for the first time in my life, I really knew I was great at something. And that was consistently affirmed by my supervisors and the cast members that I produced. Most of the showrunners would tell me that I was one of the best field producers they'd ever worked with. Cast members who were notoriously challenging for producers in the past, requesting that I produce their scenes. I was in my element. I was killing it. I was really freaking proud of myself. For the first couple years, I think I was blinded to the toxic culture on a lot of these shows by my excitement to be there. But after a while, I started to step back and question the way these shows were being run. I could see how overworked and stressed out a lot of my colleagues were. And I would look at a lot of the gay men who were showrunners on this show and try to picture my life if I was in their position. And honestly, most of them seemed unhappy, lonely, and some of them quite miserable. Is this really what I want out of my life? Is this the trajectory I want to continue down? So time went on, and my passion for the genre started to wane as a result by how poorly cast and crew were treated at times. And for someone who loves Housewives as much as I do, I was quite shocked by how disenchanted I became. I also developed
There is a huge Housewives sector on YouTube. Eternity says, this confirms why I was right to stop watching Bravo. People felt like, there's some people that at some point kind of get discouraged by watching the show, or it's the same thing, or it's over and over and over. Somebody said in the chat, Bravo has standards. What does this mean? Because the way in which some of the shows are ran, keep that in mind. But this is somebody that's from the inside. And I think he has a valid story of, things that he's had to come up out of, right? Abuse, drug abuse, stuff like that. And then making full circle, but also then having to balance this toxic work culture, right? And how he dealt with that maybe was through other outlets, right? And everybody deals with things a little bit different.
It's a bit of a moral dilemma on a recent season when a cast member's sexuality was at the center of a storyline. I found the internal conversations about this person and what they were going through to be extremely insensitive, problematic, and quite frankly, gross. A person's coming out journey, if they have one, is entirely their own. Full stop. Now, let me be clear. I'm not talking about friends of this person who are also on the show who would naturally be inquisitive and ask questions about someone's life and who they're dating. I'm talking about the entity of a TV show digging into someone's sexuality in a way that's salacious and sensationalized. That's what the internal dialogue felt like to me. Producers encouraging other cast members to ask direct questions that would put this person's sexuality on the spot just felt really invasive to me and crossed the line that I wasn't really comfortable with. I would see people at the executive level who have worked with this cast member for years, seemingly very close, talk to this cast member in a seemingly compassionate way, And then when the cast member would walk away, they completely changed their tune and spoke of this person and what they were going through with such a lack of empathy and respect, even going so far as to using a gay slur, that it was truly shocking. I thought to myself, if this is how they treat this person, someone who has bled out for this show and this network in ways that most people will never know, if this is how they talk about them, they are never going to have my back. And it turns out I was right. The circumstances around that storyline were a major contributing factor to me realizing that it was time to make a change. I also want to quickly touch on Garcelle announcing her departure from the show because I've seen some wildly negative things said about her online. I could go on for days about what a pleasure Garcelle was to work with, but if you really want to measure the character of a real housewife, ask the crew members who they like to shoot with the most. You can learn a lot about a person by the way they treat the people that they think can do nothing for them. Any morning when the crew found out that we were spending the day with Garcelle, they were ecstatic. And they most definitely do not feel that way about all of the ladies on the show. And I'm so proud of Garcelle for prioritizing her life over a television show. You know, I found many parallels between producing reality TV and producing adult content. They both offer a voyeuristic view into some of the most vulnerable and mostly unseen moments in people's lives. But I have to say that I've found adult entertainment to be far less invasive than reality TV. It's interesting because most of Bravo's shows and Housewives are centered around conflict, people hurting one another and then making up and then hurting one another again. And society deems that as perfectly acceptable. But God forbid you produce
They have a baby crying. That's not baby bunny, I promise. Just letting y'all know.
Content about people pleasuring each other, making one another feel good. How scandalous, right? When it's more palatable for mainstream society to watch people hurt one another than it is to pleasure one another, it's no wonder the world's in the state that it's in. For me, my life has become much more balanced, more fulfilling, and far less toxic since I started working in adult entertainment. For so much of my life, I made decisions based upon what other people will think. What will my family think? What will my coworkers think? What will society think? Other people's opinions often shape so much of our decision making. And honestly, adult entertainment has been something I've been interested in doing for a long time, but I was too scared to do because of the fear of what other people might think. Man, you've got...
You don't think that that's also toxic work environments are everywhere, though, whether it's adult entertainment industry or others. I mean, we've even seen people in the adult entertainment industry speak out about certain things or situations that they've been exposed to and the toxicity behind that. I just don't know if maybe that's his outlet. Maybe he feels like this is going to be better. I think wherever you go, it's toxic. Wherever you go, it's toxic. I've been praised for being an amazing producer because it is a very hard job and it's multitasking three-ring circus. I have zero doubt that they use and abuse his ability. Yeah, I very, very much agree with this. Garcelle was the reason I watch Beverly Hills. Isn't adult entertainment all about being invasive? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I guess it just depends. I don't know. I think and I'm trying to balance this because it's kind of like, you know, if this is where he feels empowered to go, more power to him. But I honestly think that he's literally going from one work environment that is toxic to potentially another one. This is just how it is. It's all of them. All of them, right? That's just my thought on that. Bravo is an ongoing lawsuit. Ooh, okay. Adult entertainment should be consensual. All of it should be consensual. I just want to make sure that when he says this, that he's understanding that it doesn't really matter where you go. It's toxic wherever, because of the circumstances that, you know, people may be in. But hey, man, maybe he is more comfortable there and more successful, you know, and that should be fine.
One life to live, and it's yours alone. And I've been having such a blast making this content for the past few months. I mean, working with the housewives can be fun at times, but traveling the world to film with some of the most beautiful men on the planet is also a pretty top tier job, if you ask me. But while I am extremely proud of a lot of the work I've done with Bravo, I am just as proud of the work that I'm doing now. And let me say this, sex work is real, legitimate work, and it has been since the dawn of humanity. Shout out to all the sex workers out there who have been discriminated against, unfairly judged, or cast aside because of what they choose to do with their own bodies. Those have been villainized by many of the same people who consume the product and services that they provide. So I thank those who have endlessly battled the stigma and demanded a seat at the table, all while building an industry so massive and so profitable that it made it a safe enough space for Real Housewives like Denise Richards and Larsa Pippen to start creating adult content. What's up, y'all? My name is Pat.
Ooh wee. Ooh wee wee wee. I mean, if it makes them happy, hey, be happy, right? Like, you know, it's whatever makes anybody happy, right? And but the thing is we have to be, if it's a work environment, toxicity is going to happen everywhere. Now this is part 2. Let's see. Okay.
Maybe Bravo isn't even aware of some of the volatile working conditions that these producers and crew are subjected to, especially on these cast trips. On my first international cast trip, I found myself in hand-to-hand combat with a Real Housewife. There I was in my Lady Gaga t-shirt, making $1,000 a week as an associate producer, freaking like Simba and Scar with this housewife, trying to stop her from physically assaulting another cast member with a metal pole. Needless to say, these shows are stressful enough without the added pressure of an egomaniacal showrunner with incredibly unrealistic expectation. Oftentimes, the co-executive producers are left doing damage control for all the things the showrunners screw up, while also being the only ones who actually get anything done. I've always been a firm believer in trying to leave a place better than you found it. So,
Gotcha. Kragan says, Rabbit, I totally disagree about going to another toxic environment because he's at the helm and creates his own opportunities, and the space is sanity. Ah, okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it could well be the thing, and maybe there's more freedom for him there than what he's currently experiencing. You know? That's, yeah, I mean, I could agree with that too.
So here are a few things that I think need to change at Bravo, and just a few things that maybe need to be brought to their attention. Stop overworking your producers to the point of complete exhaustion. The amount of pressure and the expectations put on producers and crews on these cast trips are truly insane. You see, these shows aren't unionized, so there aren't protections in place to ensure that employees aren't being mistreated and overworked. Now, some shows do these trips correctly. Vanderpump Rules, for example, staggers their crews and their producers to ensure that everyone is given adequate rest. That's a testament to the showrunner and the production management on that show, the seasons that I was on it, because they actually cared about the well-being for the cast and crew. And that was reflected in the vibe of that crew. People loved working on that show because of great leadership. Winter House was another example of an executive producer who made sure that producers and crew were staggered. And that, too, was one of the happiest crews I worked for on my time at Bravo. On the other hand, you have showrunners that run these trips like tyrants. They expect every producer to be at the cast rooms at 8 a.m., and they will keep every producer on working until like 2 a.m. Now, if you were a general in the Army, would you send every one of your soldiers to the battlefield at the same time? Of course not. Send them in waves to ensure the longevity and endurance of your army as a whole. Same thing applies here. Why would you overexert every single producer on your team unnecessarily when you could stagger them and keep everyone rested and on point for the entire battle? These trips are a battle. On a recent cast trip, myself and a group of crew members traveled 22 hours to an international location. Now, a travel day is a work day. You aren't resting, you're taking flights, you're changing planes, you're receiving gear, you're working. And God forbid you are traveling with the cast. Try being the only producer traveling with 7 housewives on an international flight. God love them, but you are not resting. It's a lot. So we arrive at the hotel after having traveled and worked for the past 22 hours straight, and we receive a text that says, "Welcome. Please drop your bags in your room and freshen up and be in the lobby within the hour for a full day of scouting." Mind you, the executive producer and many others had advanced to the location days before and got a full night's sleep that none of us had.
Okay, I have a question. A real quick question. For those that have been like producers, if I have anybody in my chat, so how much does a producer make? And I'm just kind of curious, like what? Yeah, I'm assuming that they're paid for everything's paid for, right? But how much do they make? Does anybody know? Yeah, to each its own. To each his own. You know what, Stephanie? I think he is trying to be very careful about what names he's dropping because he's like, I'm not trying to get sued. All right. He is being the duck. He's being very general because I think of what Stephanie just put here. He's very careful. He's like, I'm not trying to get sued. All right.
Yet, even though we had just finished a 22-hour workday, we were expected to begin another workday without a wink of sleep. That is unacceptable and I'm pretty sure highly illegal. But on these trips, because there isn't much of a network presence, the entire cast, crew, and production team is at the mercy of one showrunner. and some of these showrunners are wilding out on these trips. The number of times I've consoled a crying segment producer in a foreign country because they couldn't find a pretty enough basket weaving biscuit shop that would meet the incredibly unreasonable expectations of the executive producer. Now, this job is not that serious, so nobody should be driven to the point of tears working on a show about screaming ladies in fancy places. Also, stop overexerting your crews. The camera and audio teams on these shows bust their asses following these cast members around, all while carrying extremely heavy equipment. So every measure should be taken to ensure that they are well taken care of. But unfortunately, there is this culture of content is king on these shows, meaning that nothing is more important than what will appear on the screen. Well, I'm sorry, but I think the health and wellness of human beings should be king. I can't tell you how many times I've popped into Video Village to be like, hey, B Crew was supposed to break for lunch 30 minutes ago. And I'm met with we're in the middle of our scene, we'll break them when we can. All while this guy's like sipping on a Diet Coke and eating a cheese plate without.
Yeah, I'm hearing like a cat and I'm hearing children. So I'm like, that's not Baby Bunny. I made a good amount back in the 90s. I imagine it's even more nowadays. Don't know, but I'm in Europe. Okay. But you do work in 24 hours. Bravo Housewives producers can make an average of 1,000 per day. 1,000 per day? It's a lot of money. 1,000 per day. And then I'm assuming that they pay for like hotel meals and stuff like that while you're walking around filming these crazy people that are giving people the reality TV shows that they want to see.
Even consulting the people that are holding the heavy cameras and audio bags that are making this show possible. It is a maniacal abuse of power, and it needs to come to an end immediately. I also want to specifically mention the loggers, because these people are some of the most overworked and underpaid people in the entertainment industry. These are the people who are transcribing the scene work so they can write a summary to send to the network to read what happened for the day. They're expected to be very detailed and accurate. Now, first of all, the logger position should be an associate producer position across the board. A lot of these shows will call them loggers so they can pay them less for doing the same job as an associate producer. But these people work so hard and they deserve that AP title. The loggers have to work their full 12+ hour day, and then they have to go home and write a summary, which can take hours, especially on the cast trips when we're shooting all day. That is a lot of writing. So these loggers go back to their rooms and are sometimes up until 4 a.m. and then have to be ready to work again at 8 a.m. By the second day of the trip, they are zombies. And the worst part is that they often aren't even paid for all the extra hours that they spend writing. Can't tell you how many times a logger has complained to me that production denied their overtime requests because they didn't request it in advance. Now, how can you request something in advance when you don't know how long it's going to take you to write something? The entire hot sheet system needs to be overhauled and streamlined because as it stands, it's completely broken. I would encourage Bravo to reach out to every logger and AP on the most current seasons of all the shows. And
they're not going to do that. Come on now. The average salary for a reality producer in the United States is around $85,222 a year. That's not a lot. For 1,000 a day. And hold up, let me see. But remember, that's only while filming. 1,000 a day is a little bit different, but $85,222 a year for $40 an hour, that's not a lot. That's not a lot. Oh, okay. Yeah. You said I'm a server and I have made up to 500 a day, although it's less dramatic. There's a lot of drama and I work 6-hour shifts. I will stick with my job. Oh my goodness. I was going to say, that's what I would think too. But in America, maybe it's a little bit different.
Ask them if their hours worked accurately were reflected in the hours that they were paid for, because I can guarantee you that in a lot of cases, they were not. Because these shows are produced in the field by a production company and not the network, there is rarely a network presence on set, if at all. There's occasionally a network exec on cast trips, but they usually pop in for a day or two and sit at Video Village watching the monitors. They're not involved with production logistics. I would encourage Bravo to send an HR representative to location for the entire duration of these cast trips to ensure that the cast and the crew are being treated fairly, professionally, and given their adequate breaks and rest time between shoot days. Another thing I'd like to see change is let's stop telling cast members how to feel. There were so many times on my last few seasons where I'd arrive to a scene and the housewife would tell me, now I know I'm supposed to feel appreciative to her about this, but I just really don't. I'm like, who told you you're supposed to feel that way? the executive producer. It is such a disservice, not only to the cast member, but also to the producer who's trying to produce an authentic scene for reality television. And also, it just makes for bad TV. It's clunky, bad producing. A good producer will arrive to a scene, talk to their cast member, and find out how they feel. If the cast member doesn't know, a great producer will talk it through with them and help them figure out how they feel. A bad producer will just tell them how to feel. Several housewives on my last few seasons have been complaining that they've never been told how to feel so much. Because here's what happens. Say the producer convinces the cast member to say they feel that way. So they do it. A day or so later, the cast member gets upset in a scene, and then their true feelings come out. And now they look crazy, and the audience is left thinking, wow, what a flip-flopper, what the hell? Well, that's the producer's fault, and the cast member is left to eat it. So if you're a housewife or a cast member on one of these shows and a producer comes in strongly pressuring you to feel a certain way, just know that that producer is producing you with an agenda, and they probably don't have your best interest at heart. Always go with your gut and stay true to your own feelings, because you can always stand on your truth, or else it'll come back to bite you, which I have seen happen on multiple shows. These people are compelling enough on their own. We don't need to be telling them how to feel. It's ruining the show, so stop doing it. I'd also like to say that there are so many wonderful, hardworking people that make these shows. Many of the producers, cast, crew members have become dear friends of mine over the years. I've talked to several of them since being iced out, and not one of them has told me that me making adult content made them uncomfortable. But you know what many of them have told me makes them uncomfortable? Holding a camera or an audio bag for 4 hours straight in the tropical heat without a break. That makes them uncomfortable. While there were many things that I loved about my time with Bravo, it was no longer a place for me because it wasn't conducive to a happy life. I'm no longer living to work. I guess the big lesson here for me is to never pour all of yourself into a company or an organization that will cast you aside in a heartbeat. We're here for like 2 seconds. Live your life for you and you alone. So if the content I'm making now sounds like something you might be interested in checking out, my username across all platforms is @thicktrick1. Come find me. Let's have some fun. If my final act as a Bravo producer was bringing my smoke,
he just plugged in his he just bloop, he made that he did that. Mar, thank you for the $4.99 comment. Now it's very obvious that they call it reality shows, but half of it is scripted. I love how he did the plug right there. Why do I like it? He's funny. That's why. But I just have my opinions about just the switch. Did y'all catch that? Thank you for the $4.99, my love. Hold up.
smoking hot adult content creating superstar boyfriend to the Emmys as my date, where I was a nominee. I think I can live with that. And I think I can live with spending a month in Thailand celebrating his 40th birthday, which is what we're doing right now. So
Wow.
Bravo. It occurred to me that
There you go. Done. That's all we're watching out of that. You're blushing. You said plug away thick. Let's see. The reality seems behind the scenes, more drama apparently, right? That's what that should be the reality TV show of this. It should be the behind the scenes. People would stick around for that drama, because that would be drama. The adult content is not an issue for me, and honestly, I've made a note to reach out to him if I have future production needs, because he has said a very refreshing point. He has had very refreshing points of views. I agree, Kraken. Shout out to you. Let's see. A lot of a reality TV show is too much mental gymnastics, in my opinion. I cannot imagine myself working for a reality TV show. Seems like a lot of reality has changed, right? Like from when it first initiated. Like, what was the very first reality TV show? I can't even remember. Like, if I could remember when it first came out, and then there would be like these. I remember there were these Hollywood people that were boycotting reality TV shows. I think it was Susan Sarandon who was one of them. Yeah, she was like upset that people were doing a lot of reality TV stuff, and now it's everywhere. Now they're doing the reality TV. Is it Survivor? I thought it was American Idol that was the first. I could be wrong. Or was it Cheaters? You remember the show Cheaters? Where Was it Real World? The first. We have to now I'm curious. Go Google it. What was the first documented reality TV show? Hold up. What was the first documented reality TV show? Let's see what Google says. Candid Camera. Candid Camera was the first. I guess if you think about it, Google says Candid Camera, right? If you think about it this way. Like America's Funniest Home Videos, like that would be a bit of reality that was like it wasn't filmed by them, but it was like submitted for them. See, I don't know about the year. So if you think back to like when like I would watch those shows and that would make sense. By real world standards, not Jerry Springer. I feel like there was something, it was like real world concepts, and then they added them to like reality TV show. Y'all remember Cheaters? Cheaters was one that I thought, oh, this is like, I think that was one that we would watch all the time. But yes, that's crazy. It just made me think. I was like, well, what was? And what is considered reality TV show? An American Family. So this was PBS 1976, documenting the lives of upper middle class families in Santa Barbara. Let's see. Hold up. What does Screen Rant say? So The Bachelor, Big Brother. This was the early 2000s, but it had to be before that. I feel like a lot of this was before that. Candid Camera was the first reality TV show. That's what they say. American Sportsman, An American Family, and Real People, and then Cops. Oh, y'all forgot about Cops. And then The Real World, and then Echo Challenge, Road Rules, A Baby Story. These are just some that were like in the 90s. The Challenge, Fanatics, Emergency Vets. Like these are just shows that were reality TV, how it took off. That's interesting. Oh, I'm kind of curious to know. And maybe even look into that a little bit more. But anyways, guys, it's getting late. I have to go and tend to baby bunny, and I gotta eat something because I'm like a little lightheaded now. So I gotta go do that. I want to shout everybody out. Thank you guys so much for supporting my channel today. Dizzy, Morris, Nancy, thank you. Shout out to Nancy. The Duck, thank you. Storm, thank you. Morris, thank you. The Storm again. Leslie, Dizzy, Mar. Shout out to Mar. Thank you, Mar, for being here. The Duck, Nancy again. Mar. Thank you. Y'all are amazing. I appreciate it. I got to go get some water, refill the coffee. Look at this. I literally finished this while I was talking to you guys, and then I was chomping at the ice. Shout out to everybody. You guys have a wonderful, shout out to you, beautiful Miss Bell. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day. I will see you guys on the next one. Make sure you guys watch the video that we dropped this morning. And let me know what you guys think in the comments. All right. Bye, guys. Bye.